Hi, everybody. It's Christina, co-owner here at the Gloss Slipper, and I just wanted to pop on here and kind of talk about the motivation behind the subscription service and why we're doing what we're doing. The other co-owner, Elizabeth, we were talking yesterday, and she says, Christina, you need to tell the story about why we started doing this. And I believe it or not, this is nerve-wracking for me. If it's an interview, it's totally fine because I'm talking one-on-one with somebody, but sitting here knowing that I'm talking to some of the most beautiful people in the world, that intimidates me. And I'm a naturally shy person at heart. And we thought that it's very, very important for us to share why we decided to take on the Glass Slipper, transform it into a subscription service. And we want to be as transparent and open as we can. And so this is one of the ways we're doing it. So my first interaction with any type of pageant person was in third grade. And I remember sitting on the gym floor in my elementary school. And I grew up in a very, very small farm town. And all of a sudden, in walks the most beautiful person I had ever seen at that point. And she was wearing a crown and a sash. And she was Miss Kentucky. And I'm not really sure what she said to us that day, but I do remember her walking up to the front row. Well, we were all sitting on the ground, but the front row of students, and she found this little girl that she was dirty. She her hair was all knotted from not being brushed. Her clothes were definitely not new or clean, and she put the crown on her head. That makes me want to tear up, because that was the first time anybody had made an impact like that to students like us. She looked at her and she said, "You are so beautiful." And she said that in front of the whole elementary school. Wow. But that was the impact. That was the exact moment that I looked at her and I said, I want to be just like her when I get older. And, growing up on a farm and a small farm town, there wasn't very many opportunities, and we definitely didn't have enough money to do any kind of pageants in my family. So when I left home, I was 17. I did 2 small county fair pageants, and wow, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't look the part. I borrowed, a couple gowns that didn't fit. I got Miss Congeniality at both times, but I didn't place any others. I didn't place on any of them, but it was still a fun experience. And, at the time I was like, well, there goes my chance for Miss Kentucky. I'll just, continue on with my college career, and maybe I'll be called to something else. So fast forward to when I was 25, I was teaching high school at the time at a private Christian school. And, at a private Christian school, we could talk about God in the classroom. And I can't remember what the lesson was that day, but we were talking about God's will in our life. And, I said, when I was growing up, and I told him about the story about Miss Kentucky talking to our elementary school, and I said, I had always felt called to be Miss Kentucky. And I said, but you know what? You grow up, your path goes a different direction. I got married really young. I had my first child, and I was not eligible to do Miss Kentucky. And that's okay, because God meets us where we are at the time right at that moment. And I said, and then he changes the calling for our lives, and he uses us exactly where we are. And one of the little girls raised her hands, and she said, why don't you just do a Mrs. pageant? And I was like, a Mrs. pageant? did that really exist? I had no idea. That's how clueless I was about pageant systems, and I was 25. So I look at her and I say, I had no idea that existed, but I'll look into it. I'll look into it tonight. Of course, the whole class is like, you need to do it. And I was like, okay, I will research it, and I'll let you know what I find out. So I go home that night and I look up the Mrs. Pageant, and there was one exactly 1 month from the day I looked it up. So, and in my head, I'm like thinking, there's no way I can prepare for a pageant, like a real state pageant, um, a month before for 30 days. No way. And even if I did want to, at the time, and I would never tell my students this, but I was only making $28,000 a year and trying to pay off student loans. There was no way that I could take that money and put it towards a pageant, especially when I had a 1-year-old at the time, or not even a 1-year-old. So went back to the class and I said, there is a pageant, but unfortunately, there's just no way I can make it work. And that's okay. Like I said, not all callings are fulfilled, basically that. And no kidding, that night, a few students came to my house and brought me the most beautiful Sherry Hill gown I had ever seen. And wow, this video is, I'm sorry, that's how grateful I am for the generosity of others and how selfless people can be. It really shows that there are great people in this world. And that's why I'm tearing up. But they brought me the most beautiful Sherry Hill and shoes and cocktail dresses. And they said, we want you to do this pageant. We believe in you. We want you to do this pageant. And I didn't have any objections at that point. And I went, I called my friend from high school, Kurt Jordan, and I said, Kurt, he's a pageant coach, and I said, Kurt, I have no idea what I'm doing. I need help walking. So he helped me, he taught me how to walk. He did my hair. My sister did my makeup, and I got on stage and had a blast, and I won. That was the most incredible feeling for my self-confidence. Since then, I've had 2 other titles. I've been to 2 nationals. And the point of that story is, if it wasn't for the generosity of my students, just giving me that gown and believing in me, I wouldn't have done as many volunteer opportunities that I could be a part of. When you have a crown and sash on your head, doors open. And I know the title holders out here know that. When you walk into a room, to see a little girl's eyes light up and all of a sudden they think you are the queen of the universe. And they believe every word that you say. So if you are spreading good news and are spreading kindness and love and generosity, just think of what you've done in that little girl's life, or anybody that looks up to you. That is my motivation behind the glass slipper. Supporting my sisters for doing good works. And this is more than just a pageant resale site. This is a community. It's a family. And when I bought it from Autumn, she looked at me and she said, the only reason I'm selling it to you, because she had many offers to buy the glass slipper. And she said, the only reason I'm selling it to you is because I know you'll take care of this. And I know you'll love the members as much as I love the members. And I looked at her, I said, yes, I do, and I will. And I have been trying, when we did the first website, it didn't work out, and that's okay. We wanted to make it right. And so we decided to go back to the Facebook group. But the bigger picture here, and this is what I told Elizabeth from the very beginning, I said, I have a greater vision for the group. I really want to give back, because the only reason I got into pageants is because somebody helped me get there, and I'm going to help other people get there. And as much as I want to help other people, I can't do it alone. I look at my Facebook, and when people ask for money for a pageant or whatever, most of the time I'm like, oh my gosh, if I only had just $1,000 laying around, I would just give it to her, because she is doing so much great work in her community. She is making a difference in people's lives. When she walks into a room, she is inspiring other people. I just wish I had X amount of dollars to give her and just say, take the burden off of all of your expenses. Keep doing what you're doing in your community, because that's the most important part. And so when I talked to Elizabeth and Autumn about the glass slipper, I said, wouldn't it be awesome if we, took a percentage of all of the money that we raise from the site, and we set up scholarship funds. And the more people that are in the group, the more money we can give away, the more impactful we can be. There are so many women and so many girls out there who are in the pageant, or who are doing great works in their community, but can genuinely not afford to be in a pageant. And that seems very trivial to some people. I know if you say, well, if you say this to, I wouldn't say an outsider, but somebody who doesn't understand the pageant world, they'd be like, there's a lot of other causes that you could give to. And I want to say, no. Have you ever been to an event? Have you ever seen the schedule that a pageant girl has to go through? Have you ever seen her community service work, her dedication to other people? Have you ever seen her walk into a hospital and touch the lives of the little children? You clearly don't understand the power of pageants. And so my point is that if together as a family we can each give $1, we can afford to help the people that have the potential and the determination and the heart for their love, for their communities and other people. We can afford to lift them up and say, we believe in you so much, we are willing to cover your cost for your nationals. We are willing to cover your cost for this beautiful gown you want, and hopefully you'll buy it from the glass slipper, but we will cover that cost. How amazing would that be for our community to join together and support one another? So, besides dealing with the fraud in the group, which actually, you know what, guys, we are down. I mean, we haven't been getting as many messages. Things have improved. There's still a few here and there, but the fact that we are on the buyer beware groups, we are blocking scammers left and right. It's really doing what we're wanting it to do. So thank you guys for reporting posts, keeping us updated on scammers. You guys are amazing. But besides the scammers, going out and bringing you offers that on things that you already need for your pageant. That's our goal here on this group. So we reach out to different vendors and different designers and things like that. And we go to them and say, hey, we know that our community loves your shoes. Will you give us an exclusive discount so they can buy your shoes, because they already need it anyway? Would you mind giving us an exclusive discount? So that's kind of what we do behind the scenes. But the bigger picture and the bigger vision is to support our community in a way that other groups do not. Because we know, and we've had people do it, that you can definitely leave the glass slipper and go to another pageant resale site that does the exact same thing. But we hope you don't, because there's something magical and something special about being in the glass slipper family, because it's more than just about gowns. Being in the pageant community, it's being a family, and it's lifting each other up, because you guys are doing amazing works in your community, and we need to change the stigma. We need to change the stigma on pageant girls. Um, with the Me Too movement and everything else on out there, this is the perfect time to stand up and say, we can change the world. This is how we choose to do it. So all in all, I just want to say thank you for being a part of this community. I know this was kind of a long video, but I felt like it needed to be shared. And I just hope that, when we start the subscription service on the 11th, that you stick around and stay in our group, because you are loved, you are appreciated, and together we can make a difference. And we're truly, truly grateful for everything you're doing for your communities. And if there's anything we can do to help make your pageant journey even better, message me, message Elizabeth. We are going to be the ones answering you, and we're here for you. So I hope you guys have a great week, great weekend. Go sell some dresses, and I'll see you on the flippity flop. Bye, guys.